But let me tell you, we are gaining ground every day. We are making progress every day. And it's because you, the people of St. Michael Northeast, has given to Barbados a prime minister that knows how to design and execute a plan that will take us into the 21st century and safeguard the well-being of every Barbadian. So I'm asking you, continue to work and support. Speak up. Don't hide your mouth. Stand proud. Stay the course. And Barbados will not only be restored, it will be transformed and will be ready for the 21st century. That is our promise to you. God bless you tonight.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Husbands. And now we're going to ask to come to the podium the Honorable Dwight Sutherland, the Minister of Small Business, Entrepreneurship, and Commerce. Please put your hands together and welcome him. Welcome,
sir. A good night to all the members and constituents of St. Michael Northeast. You know, when the Prime Minister asks you to grace her with your presence, it's an honor. And I want to start, I heard people talking about the Prime Minister, but this is the first time since election that I'm coming to these quarters to address the branch. The last time I was here, I think I was a member of the executive 2 years ago, and I presided over the election. So I want to begin by thanking those faithful persons who continue to stand by the Prime Minister of this country. And I recall the last time I was here, I said to you, you're going to have to be patient, you're going to have to be dedicated, you're going to have to be committed, and you're going to have to be tolerant. Because the Prime Minister back then spent most of her time not with you. She spent most of her time with us, traveling the length and breadth of Barbados, making sure and ensuring that each and every one of us had a chance to become a member of Parliament in this country. And I'm not here to repeat what others have stated earlier. But the Prime Minister's task is indeed one that is mammoth. And you, the constituents of St. Michael Northeast, ought to be proud to have someone like Mayor Amor Montley as your parliamentary representative. I just came out of Bolivia about 3 weeks ago, and the Prime Minister sent me to deal with the National Standards Institution in this country. The ministry that I have responsibility for under my purview is the Barbados National Standards Institution. And the last decade saw that institution spiraling and in a state of flux. And we lost some of our designation and our membership, being one of them being the Inter-American Institute of Metrology, which is the science of measurement. And those of you who understand measurement would know that the world now is moving away from imperial to metric. So my visit to Bolivia was to attend the World's Conference to stamp, you would say, the passport, Barbados' passport, but to stamp the government's passport to become a member again of the Inter-American Metrology Institute. They call it SIMS. And SIMS represents Spanish. Those of you who know Spanish, Sistema Interamericana Metrológica, SIMS. And when they introduced me, the Minister of Commerce from Bolivia, he introduced me and he said, he's from the powerhouse of the Caribbean. Prime Minister Montley is leading the Latin America. He never said the Caribbean region. He said the Latin America and Caribbean region. And indeed, I felt proud. So my job at that conference was simple. I just had to sign to say that Barbados is now a member of the Inter-American Metrology Institute. I had nothing to say. When they asked me what I have to say, I spoke about engineering and standards, and of course, I had to big up Marley. But there was no need to say anything about Prime Minister Marley. She did it for me. And I want to say to you, the people of St. Michael Northeast, you have a world leader. Recognize it. Embrace it. These are once of a lifetime leaders. And you ought to be proud and walk about this constituency. Walk with your head up and your shoulders up and be proud to know that you have someone who, if not yet, soon to be the best leader this country has ever seen. But I'm not here to talk about my Prime Minister for my entire speech. The Prime Minister gave me a task. And you heard me some time back in Carlisle Car Park speaking about it, because I know most of you were there. And the Prime Minister asked me to lead a ministry, small business entrepreneurship and commerce, to build out what we call, and I sure Senator Holder, I have to pause at this time and recognize someone I grew up with. You didn't know that, huh? We grew up in the community of Ellerton, St. George. And we are proud to know where we come from and what we have achieved. This young lady is awesome. And you all have another leader in her right in St. Michael Northeast. And clap for that. She was your branch president for a while, the longest standing branch president for St. Michael Northeast. And the Prime Minister gave me that responsibility to build out the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector. And I have with me my sister, Senator Lynette Holder, who worked with me day in and day out to ensure that this sector, that people, some persons have not recognized, the last decade did not recognize, and you know who I mean by the last decade. I ain't calling them names. They're not relevant. I just say the last decade. The more we talk about them, the more we give them relevance, right? Just say the last decade. Don't call the boy BDEN. We only talk about the Labour Party tonight. The last decade threw cold water on that sector. But if you do your research, you will see clearly, worldwide research, that the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector is the sector that will lead countries and that will take countries to another level. This sector accounts for over 40% of development, economic development, unrecognized by some. People often look at tourism. People often look at investment. But the growth of your local sector, the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector, is fundamental to the country's development. So the Prime Minister gave me that task. And she said to me, and I told you before, she said, you got the most votes in the country, go and below that sector. That's the sector that interfaces with the majority of the people in this country. And the government recognized the need to implement new and modern approaches to economic growth and development. And one of these approaches is to transform the Barbadian economy through an innovative strategy centered around investment in skills, ideas, and the endeavors of Barbadians. And the aim of this basically is to create new wealth by empowering local entrepreneurs with a view to cultivate what I call an entrepreneurial ethos that is widespread in this country and is driven by what I call international foresight. So while it is widespread in this country, we have to look beyond the 166 square miles of this country to project our business opportunities. When I was in another life and I was teaching, I asked a question to my students just on the hill there. I spent some time on the hill back there, yes? 4 or 5 years lecturing. And I asked one of my questions, should Shafet go regional? I had some students, bright students. One now is the head of the credit union. And I asked the question, should Shafet go regional? I still have that thesis that he wrote. And the arguments for Shafet to go regional were indeed powerful. But today we have not seen Shafet gone regional. I just came from Sudan Touch, the spa. The opening of Sudan Touch, the spa. Known to the small business sector, Mr. Andrews. He opened a spa in Walkers in St. George. He moved it from Fair Pilgrim. And that is a health and wellness business, small business in this country. Health and wellness. Health and wellness. So don't think we only talking about rum shops and hair cutting and barber salons and stuff. But you see where the micro, small, and medium enterprise sector stretches. We have been called, and I know Senator Lynette Holder might do the speech, to address a renewable energy sector who is seeking to form a cooperative in that sector, small businesses who are indeed focusing on renewable energy. But I'm just giving you the little snippets of how this sector will be built out over the next 3 years under the vision and the leadership of Mayor Amor Montley. Because we recognize that this sector is a sector that the last administration, what the boys will say, poo-poo on. They poo-poo on many things. But the task that she gave to me, and she said to me, the first thing I want you to do is to empower what I just spoke about, create new wealth through entrepreneurship among these small businesses and among these persons. Persons who never had the opportunity. And we speak about the commercial banks. And we know that the commercial banks, most of our small businesses cannot approach the commercial banks because the commercial banks don't want to see you simply because you can't tell them how much money your ancestors had, what property you got. You can't find 4 guarantors. Nobody wants to see the small man. But this government focused and positioned a cabinet position and a ministry position by Mayor Amor Montley to start the trust loan unit. To start the trust loan unit. They will come to you and tell you you don't have garbage trucks. They will come to you and tell you when they ain't got no buses, when they ain't collecting garbage. They will come to you and tell you we don't have water. I heard them, you know. These are people who have placed us in the predicament that we are in right now, the Democratic Labour Party. I shouldn't even call the name. As the boys have said, I just fix it. I just fix it. But they have placed us in a position that we are indeed running from the back. We are playing catch up. But what they can say, I hope you don't tell me come down because I ain't ready yet. Because I'm talking. All right, cool. But what I can say to you, the people of this country, is that the average man in this country that the man in Paddock Road, in Pioneer Road, in Parker Road don't have an opportunity. They can't tell you that, you know. All they can tell you is that we ain't get the garbage trucks, but that is so from now, the things that those persons are keeping noise about will be resolved shortly. But what we have to trumpet as a party is the opportunity that this government has given to the average man. They have, and I know Senator Holder started it, but I'm pleased to report to you that the Prime Minister of this country gave me the responsibility to build up a sector that was on top for more than 10 years. The Small Business Association did not get any money under the last administration. Senator Holder can tell you they pushed her aside, and she had what we call Gurkha over that 10 years. Gurkha in leading the Small Business Association. But thanks to Mayor Morley and her leadership, she saw it fit to provide a unit, and she said to me, you have to open this unit in less than a year. She gave me less than a year to open the trust loan unit. She said, and I said to you, I give you the preamble. We have to create new wealth through what I call an entrepreneurial ethos in this country. And I have it here. Of propelling local entrepreneurs that is spread across this nation and give them an opportunity to start their businesses in a tough economic climate. And I'm pleased to report to you tonight that within 6 months of us assuming office, we opened that unit. We opened that unit. And you know what was so powerful about it? The Prime Minister was traveling. I don't know if you recall at the annual conference when I spoke about the unit. The Prime Minister was traveling and she said, go ahead and open the unit, man. So she recognized that it's not about us, it's about who? It's about the people. And I'm pleased to report to you tonight that as at the end of September, we have provided opportunities to 2,639 businesses in this country. We have provided, and I will repeat it, check the history of politics in this country, and you tell me which administration, whether ours or theirs or them, whoever, would have provided an opportunity to create an innovative culture in this country, a culture of entrepreneurship for the average man who over the last 10 years spent his time in the mire seeking to get an opportunity by the commercial banks who are liquid, full of cash. But this government saw the need to provide $10 million annually. And we started as at September. There's 2,639 businesses that have started in this country. When persons speak to you and persons say to you that they're giving this country a failing grade, ask them whichever government in the history under the Westminster model or before has ever provided within a year of assuming office 2,000 jobs for the average man in this country. But what is more fundamental about it is that once you showed us that you had a business idea. And once you showed us that you had something that can put bread on the table for you, those persons who have been suffering for so long, we give you that opportunity. We never said no. The reason why it called the trust loan unit, we said we trust you and you trust us. So when you came to us with an idea, we trusted you. And we give you what we call startup capital, seed capital to start your own business. And today I'm proud to report that those 2,639 jobs, they are valued at just over $12 million. And to date, this government has pumped some $15 million into small business in this country. More, because I can speak about what has gone to SBA and what has gone to other entities. So this government has pumped over $16 million into small business and entrepreneurship in this country. But I can tell you that the monies that have been spent thus far has been distributed in several sectors. And I can list the sectors. I ain't got much more time, but don't worry. The message is clear though. When they tell you about garbage trucks, tell them we started within less than a year 2,639 businesses. And I can tell you where the money has been spent. In agriculture, to 315 businesses. In the cultural industries, 58 businesses. In manufacturing, 204. In retail, 812. And in services, 1,236. And tourism, 14. But what is critical to note, what is important to note, is that the Labour Party under the Mayor Amor Motley, this is her brainchild, you know. This is her baby. Your Prime Minister, your parliamentary representative came up with this idea. How we going to start business in this country? And the Organization of American States, they have embraced us. The United Nations have embraced us. Caribbean Development Bank has embraced us. And I'm pleased to report that we have started something called the Small Business Development Center Network, whereby we are looking at all of the entities who provide that service to you. The Small Business Association, Fund Access, Barbados Investment Development Corporation, which is BADC, the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. So we have taken the trust loan unit, we have taken these entities and bring them under one umbrella, thanks to the astute leadership of Mayor Amor Motley, and form what we call the Small Business Development Center Network. But I also give you some news. Senator Lynette Holder is the chairman of the Small Business Development Center Network unit in Barbados. And she's charged with the responsibility of creating a more cohesive and coordinated approach to building out small business in this country. And she's working closely with the Ministry of Small Business Entrepreneurship and Commerce. So when you walk in this country, you need to walk with your head up high and your shoulders upright. And let the people know. Don't hide. When they tell you about garbage trucks, we're going to resolve that shortly. I just came out of Fair Pilgrim. I still canvassing, you know. I spent today in Fair Pilgrim walking, greeting my people. And the only issue they have, they said the government is doing well. Tell Mayor Amor Motley I said hello. After we went to 25 houses today, every single person said, tell your Prime Minister she's doing a good job. And the only problem they have in Fair Pilgrim that I can report is garbage collection. And they recognize that we will resolve that shortly. By the twos and twos, the trucks coming in. We'll resolve that. But when I told them what we have done in starting these businesses, I have 4 applications in my car. Even the middle class people want the opportunity to start a business. But this has a ripple effect in a positive way. You're not only starting your business, but you're providing the opportunity for your family. What I call intergenerational wealth. And I said to Student Talks, they're the spa. See the shores of the 166 square miles. Don't be limited by it. Move beyond it. Intergenerational wealth with these businesses. That's a vision that we have as a government. So walk with your head up high and know that we're on the right path. And as the Prime Minister would say in her words, I want you to stay the course. I want you to walk with your head and your shoulders up high. So when they tell you about garbage trucks, let them know that the sector, the micro, small and medium enterprise sector, is being built out under the leadership of Mayor Amor Motley and her vision to provide seed capital for the average man and to create that entrepreneurial culture and what we will say ecosystem in this country, where that sector, the micro, small and medium enterprise sector, accounts for a major part of our development, is becoming a reality. And as she charged me with the responsibility, there are a lot more things we are going to do, but I give her the opportunity to tell you. Because when you come next week, I ain't saying anything. She will tell you what we have just done as well to empower the average man. Something historical in this country. And she called me at cabinet and she said, come round here. When the cabinet paper was approved on Thursday, and she hugged me and it brought tears to my eyes, she said to me, this is what I wanted ever since. This is my baby. If you think the trust fund is my baby, this is my baby. But I leave her to tell you on Sunday or a Saturday evening what it is that warms her heart as the Prime Minister of this country. And one of the avenues through which we will continue to empower the working class people in this country to make sure that they take their place, their rightful place in the economic landscape of this country. I want to thank the Prime Minister and the branch, the executives, for giving me the opportunity to address you tonight. It's always a pleasure coming to St. Michael Northeast, the home of our leader. Nothing pleases me more than to be here tonight. I want to thank you and God bless you, and I'll see you next weekend.
Thank you very much, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to stand as our Member of Parliament, the Prime Minister of Barbados, comes to have a few words with you. Let's just welcome our Prime Minister. Madam Prime Minister, the audience is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sit, please. I just want to say to you that this Saturday is not about long speeches. In fact, this Saturday is really about some internal housekeeping. And to that extent, I'm going to, first of all, thank those who spoke already. Lynette, Sandra, where's Sandra? And Dwight, of course, who is still reflecting the energy that he let go just now in the last 20 minutes. And I thank him for that T20, which has been, the innings has been delivered in the shadow of a victorious Tridents team who last weekend did the same thing that he did tonight. So thank you very much, Dwight, and for coming down from St. George. He's absolutely correct. I think this is the first time that he is speaking here since we have won the government, and I thank you for coming and sharing with the people of St. Michael Northeast. I tell people all the time that this constituency actually has 7 boundaries. And if you want a perfect microcosm of Barbados, it is as urban as it is possible to be. It is as rural as it can be. It is as suburban as it is. And it really reflects, even in the midst of it, the town centre at Warrens too. So that we really reflect a good miniature of what Barbados has to offer. I don't intend to give a long speech this afternoon because I prefer to interact with a lot of you on a one-on-one basis. But in addition to that, this evening was about right sizing and ensuring that we are in compliance with our constitution by having an annual general meeting and going into conference next week with all of our boxes ticked, and to ensure that St. Michael Northeast will continue to play the role that it has always played. It's ironic that through good times and bad times, highs and lows, this branch has always been steadfast for me and for the Barbados Labour Party, and I have never and will never take that for granted. Ironically, yesterday was the 9th anniversary that I in fact had been moved as leader of the opposition. And in those days, the branch would tell you that there were perhaps some of the few who remained steadfast throughout those highs and lows to which I referred. And perhaps that is the metaphor for staying the course. And as I said, I don't intend for anything I say today to be right to compete with anything that you've said or anyone else has said. And I really do want to ask those who are watching or those who are streaming, Charlie, for us to cut. And I'm going to go into some housekeeping business for the branch as we prepare for a conference for next week. Are we on or off still? Off. Are the members of the media here?